Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be in your neck of the woods. In my neck of the woods, it's 4:50 a.m. I've got doctor's appointments going on later today. I am a little tired if I look it, but everything's going to be okay. We're going to be reacting to a video entitled 25 Countries with the Highest Rate of Atheism. And then we're going to be commenting on other people's comments on Quora about Scandinavian countries becoming less religious, because I've always assumed that they were becoming less religious, but I might be wrong. And does that have anything to do with the more developed countries nations become, do they become less religious? Or are they just going from their old Christian religions to other religions? And is spiritualism considered religious? And how many atheists? Anyway, here we go. Let's watch and comment, then read and comment.
43% of Americans fall into the atheist crowd. All right, let's take a look and see what countries are losing their religion. Number 25, Iceland. We start off this list with this Nordic island nation filled with geysers, volcanoes, hot springs, and lava fields, and not much religion. 54% of the population say they are atheists. Now, the believers on this island nation, 95% of them are Christian and 0.2% are Muslims. Those are the two main ones there. Back in the day, they believed in Viking gods. 24, France. Even though France has some amazing cathedrals and churches, not everyone's on board with the whole religion thing here. 55% of the French people claim they are atheists. Of the people that do believe, 63% are Christian and 7.5% are Muslim.
I had a missionary companion from Argenteuil, just outside of Paris. Anyway, yeah, he was an atheist. He joined the church. There are a lot of atheists there. They're predominantly Catholic, though, the people that are religious. Same with Spain.
23, Slovenia. You know, I don't know much about Slovenia. One thing I do know is they don't get on the religion train too much. 59% of the population claim to be atheists. Of the believers, 78.4% are Christian, 3.6% are Muslim. You know, for this area, I really thought they'd have a higher Muslim population. Who knows? 22, Austria. Austria, much like Germany, they don't get into the religion thing too much. You'll see Germany later on this list. 59% of the Austrian residents claim to be atheists. Of the believers, 80.4% are Christian and 5.4% are Muslim. You know, that one kind of surprised me there. I didn't think they'd have as many Muslims there, but here you have it.
Okay, well, this guy doesn't obviously maybe know much about what's going on in Europe, but the reason that it has a lot of these European countries will have a high percentage of Muslim believers in Islam because of the immigration going on from Muslim countries.
21, Ireland. Blown away at this one. I mean, I come from a family that's part Norwegian, part Irish. My grandmother, my great-grandmother, my aunts, everyone, they were very religious. I just always thought this was a very religious country. And here they are, almost cracking the top 20 of atheist places.
Because 40 years ago, they were and there might be some tension still there. Is that in Northern Ireland or Southern Ireland? If you know, leave something in the comments section about this, please. Where were the Protestants and Catholics having a lot of tension a few years ago? Are they still having that tension? I know they're not like fighting like they used to, but was that in Northern or Southern Ireland? Anyway, let me know.
60% of Ireland's population claim to be atheist. Of the believers, 62% are Christian, 1.1% are Muslim. And by the way, I'm only including the top 2 religions in any country, or we'd be here all week, just so you know. Number 20, Israel. Again, mind blown. This is a Jewish state. How are a bunch of people here not into religion? Now, on this one, I had to dig a little deeper because I was really blown away on this one. The study I found said 61% of Israel's population is atheist. And I got a little deeper, and there was a Israeli newspaper called Haaretz, or it's Haaretz. I think that's how you call it. But anyway, they came up with 65% of Israel is atheist. So not too far from the study I got most of the information from. But of the believers, as you can imagine, 75.6 are Jewish, 18.6% are Muslims, and 2% are Christian. 19, Latvia. Now, I don't know a whole bunch about Latvia. My son was actually stationed there for about a year when he was in the military. But I'll tell you one thing I do know, 62% don't believe in the man upstairs. Of the believers, 55.8% are Christian, 1.5% are Muslim. 18, Finland. Now, you're going to start seeing a lot from this part of the world. They're just not into religion like you might think they would be. 62% of Finland's population claim they are atheists. Of the believers, 81.6% are Christian and less than 1% are Muslim. They just really don't go for it. I imagine they're just too busy trying to stay warm. 17, Canada, or as I like to call it, the land of Doug. For some reason, I know like 6 Canadians all named Doug. I'm not sure what the deal is with naming your sons Doug in Canada is, but it seems to be a thing. I mean, other than the right side of the country, when you got Quebec and Montreal, they go with like Jean-Pierre and stuff like that. But 63% of Dougs consider themselves atheists. Of the believers, 69% are Christian.
And they like to say, I had so many companions on my mission from Canada. Cardston, Alberta. That's where the members of the church settled back in the 1800s. I believe Brigham Young sent many up there to the Alberta area. And that's where every one of my Canadian companions were from. Why did I have many Canadian companions? Because I served in the Great Salt Lake area.
Christian, 2.1% are Muslim. I'm a little shocked there. I really thought they'd have a higher Muslim population, but it's only 2.1%. 16, Spain. This is another one that kind of shocked me. Spain has amazingly beautiful churches and cathedrals, and here they are. 63% of their population claim to be atheists. But of those people that believe, 78.6% are Christian, 2.1% are Muslim. Number 15, Azerbaijan. This is another country that I don't know a ton about, but I do know they're not into religion. Alone. 64% of the Azerbaijan people do not believe in the man upstairs. Wow. But of the ones that do, 96.9% are Muslim and 3% are Christian. A little bit switcheroo there compared to what we've had already. 14, South Korea. I'm not too shocked on this one. A lot of Asian countries really aren't into the whole religion thing. 5 of the top 15 are Asian countries on this list. 65.
Most people have the misconception that Asians are Buddhist. There are Buddhist Asians. They used to be more Buddhist, just like a lot of the European countries used to practice Christianity more. Like the majority of them practice Christianity. The majority of Asians many years ago practiced Buddhism, and then later converted to Christianity, and then altogether just stopped. Like Japan, the majority of Japanese people, I believe, are atheist. Let's see if he talks about that.
5% of South Korea's population say they are atheists. Of the believers, 29.4% are Christian and 22.9% are Buddhist. 13, Hong Kong. You know, I'm over 50. There was a cartoon back in the 70s called Hong Kong Phooey. Every time I say the word Hong Kong, I want to say Phooey at the end of it. I mean, totally racist cartoon, but we didn't know that back in the 70s. I just looked it up, and it was a big part of my life. I've always remembered it, and they only did like 16 episodes, and then some other smaller half episodes. Only last like 2 years or something. Anyway, we're talking about religion on this video, not Hanna-Barbera cartoons. And in Hong Kong,
you wouldn't have mentioned it if you were if you thought it was that offensive. Stop apologizing for all the PC crap today. Sorry, folks.
66% of the population say they are atheists. Now, I'll give you three on this one. 14.3% of the believers say they're Christian. 13.2% are Buddhist. Now, here's a different one. 12.8% follow what is known as folk religion. If you don't know what folk religion, it's kind of an ethnic, regional religion or customs that fall under the umbrella of religion, but outside the official doctrine or practice of any other regular religion. That's kind of the definition they give you. Number 12, Germany. Germany's another one I'm a little surprised on. I mean, most of Europe has, deep roots in various religions. And yeah, things change over time, but it usually takes generation after generation after generation to really get away from a religion. And Germany seems to be a place that's cutting a few of those generations out of the equation. 66% of the German population claim they're atheists. Of the believers, 68.7% believe in Christianity, while 5.8% say they are Muslim. 11, Vietnam. Yeah, another Asian country. They're really not into religion. Now, they do have a good portion of their population that's into folk religion, but 67% say they are atheists. Folk religion, 43.5%, and Buddhist is 16.4%. Number 10, Denmark. Denmark doesn't surprise me at all. I did read a study by their government that says that 80% of the population belongs to the ELC, which stands for the Evangelical Lutheran, but only 10% of them attend services. Now,
there's a lot of Christians in Europe and in the Scandinavian countries as well. Well, that's included in Europe, but we're going to talk about Scandinavian countries specifically later. But do they practice their religion? It's like Catholics in Spain or Latter-day Saints in Utah. How many are active?
They're still part of the church, so they'll do things like funerals, weddings, confirmations, baptisms, things like that. But as far as going or really considering themselves that, only 10%. 68% of Denmark's population say they are atheists, with 83.5% making up Christianity and 4.1% is Muslim. The Muslim population is mostly focused in Copenhagen and some of the other larger cities. Number 9, Norway. Norway is just like Denmark. Over 80% of the believers belong to the ELC, but only about 8% attend services on a weekly basis. And that's the believers. 70% of this country claim they are atheists. But when it does come to Christianity, 84.7% are Christian and 3.7% are Muslim. Number 8, Australia. So this one sort of surprised me. I don't know why. They're really not a very religious country. I just thought they would be. Don't know why. But 70% of Australia's population claim they are atheists. Of the believers, 67.3% are Christian and 2.4% are Muslim. Number 7, Estonia. Estonia is another place that I really don't know too much about. I do love their flag. They got a really cool flag. That black, blue, and white. I don't know. It just looks really
Well, so far he hasn't mentioned Japan.
cool. They're up there next to Latvia and Russia. They have a lot of atheists in this country, which I'm sure some of them are praying right now Russia doesn't decide to stop in Ukraine and start in Estonia. But 72% of Estonia's population claim they are atheists. Of the believers, 39.9% are Christian and only 0.2% are Muslim.
Which is interesting because during the Soviet Union period, it was you weren't allowed really to practice Christianity at all unless you did it secretly or discreetly. And I think the country allowed a little teeny bit of freedoms there as long as you were just doing it privately. But I might be wrong. But it's interesting, after the Berlin Wall and after the Soviet Union collapsed, how Christianity just went boom. So even though there's not a lot of Christians there, according to him and according to other studies, but a lot compared to when there, how do you get from almost practicing no Christian denominations, having no Christian denominations, to, for many, many years, since the turn of the 20th century all the way up till the 90s, to having the Christians they do today, and the church just flourishing and temples being built.
Number 6, Belgium. Belgium isn't a big country and they're not big into religion either. So in the top 10, I've been trying to look in and find other studies to get a better grasp of what's going on in these countries, and normally the government will have some kind of statistics on things like religion and population. One thing they don't collect in Belgium is religious affiliation numbers. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But 72% of the Belgian population claims they are atheists, with 64.2% of the believers believing in Christianity and 5.9% being Muslim. Number 5, the United Kingdom. This again kind of surprised me with the family that comes from that part of the world. I just always assumed the United Kingdom was very religious. Now I feel like I should clear something up, because whenever I say the United Kingdom and then Ireland was also on there, people are all, we already said Ireland. Ireland is not part of the United Kingdom. Northern Ireland is, not Ireland. But yeah, much to my surprise, 72% of the United Kingdom claims to be atheist, while 71% of the believers are Christian and 4.4% are Muslim. Number 4, the Czech Republic. This is a beautiful country. If you've never visited, definitely go to Prague someday. It's an amazing city with great history, beautiful country. The architecture is just mind-blowing for this place. Anyway, 75% of the Czech Republic say they are atheist. Of the believers, 53.3% are Christian, 2.1% are Buddhist, and then there's a whole bunch that claim to be religious but unaffiliated. That's most of them. In case you're doing the numbers here, that's what the rest are, unaffiliated. Number 3, Sweden.
Yeah,
Sweden, just like most of these Scandinavian countries, they're not too big on the man upstairs. I mean, for a long time.
Not too big on the man upstairs. So, yeah, I really assumed that the Norse countries, they used to be Nordic. Well, they are Nordic. They were the people that believed in Loki and what were the other gods there? I forgot. I can't remember. But here's the point I'm trying to make. I just knew that they were going to be some of the top countries. So we picked right. Maybe talking about the Scandinavian countries. Scandinavian meaning the Norse people.
Time this whole part of the world was all into the Norse gods and all that stuff, and then it's like they really didn't get into anything too big after that. 78% of the Swedish population claim they are atheist, with 67.2% of the believers being Christian, 4.6% being Muslim, and a whole bunch of 1% of everything else. Number 2, Japan. Yes, see, another Asian country. I don't know what it is, but the Asian countries and, a lot of the Scandinavian countries, they're not into religion. Look at Central and South America and you will not find them.
I knew Japan was going to be one of the top countries. Wow. Crazy. That's why they didn't mention it yet, because it's way up there.
Near the top 25. I read one article where a Japanese man said that the Japanese people believe more in Godzilla and Pokemon than they do any other religion. Wow. I thought that was interesting. But 81...
And the irony is they're some of the most peace-loving, peaceful, most polite. There's almost no crime there. It's crazy. It's crazy. Of course, the old saying is the devil... It's not really the devil's playground, right? I mean... He's trying to hone in on those who want to be religious, want God in their lives.
1% of Japan's population claim they are atheist, but of the people that do believe in some sort of religion, 81.2% are Buddhist and 1.6% falling into the Muslim category.
Yeah, see, Buddhism is not a big thing there.
Category. All right, before we get to number 1, don't forget we have another channel called On This Day. There's a link down below. We'd love it if you went over there and subscribed, watched some videos, whatever. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, China. This is an amazing stat. I mean, so many people are atheists in China.
Are they atheists? Is this a misconception? Because look how Russia is no longer on the top. Is it because the government, they're still oppressed by their government? So you're not going to have a lot of people come out and claim to be Christian, right? So this might be an illusion. Just saying.
China, that it's kind of strange. It's hard to believe that they have this many people and this many don't believe in something. 91% of China's population claim to be atheists. Yes, they've all agreed that they don't believe in this. You can't even get that high a percentage when you're offering free money. Most people are all into free money, but then there's those types who are, well, we're...
This guy can't be that dense. I'm sorry, but... If you're not bringing in the factor that if they openly come out and say they are Christian, they could face huge backlash from the government.
Where's this money coming from? Nothing's free, da 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 da. But 91% of the people claim that they are atheists in China. Mind-blowing. But of the believers, 52.2% are Buddhists and 18.2% are folk religion. All right, so that's today's video. Now, one thing I did find interesting, some of the countries with the lowest amount of atheists are actually African countries. Again, mind-blowing. I had no idea.
I believe that.
We'll do that in another video. All right, everyone.
Okay, shout out to World According to Briggs. And I'll leave the link. I don't know much about his channel, so if you go to it and it's just something completely strange, I didn't send you there. Well, I did, but not on purpose, right? I don't know. Why are Scandinavian countries becoming less religious? Cora. This person says, they're anonymous, this has nothing to do with Scandinavian countries. It is a general trend that in simple terms could be summed up in more: a country is developed, less it is religious. I don't really buy into that. Worldviews often depend on the level of development. The more development, the better. Now, I think the more prosperous you are, like the pride cycle, the less you depend on God. Anyway, you can read the rest of this. Are Scandinavian countries becoming less religious? I can only speak for this person is Eskild Rasmussen. I can only speak for my home country, which is Denmark. It is not my impression that the number of atheists is growing, but the number of people who are members of the state church sure are declining. Danish people don't become less religious, but they seek new paths, meditation, neo-paganism, spiritualism. What is neo-paganism? Spiritualism, Buddhism, Wicca, Eastern religions, sects, sects, S-E-C-T-S, like e.g. Brahma, Kumaris, etc. Okay. Anyway, you can go to this. I'll leave the link. I don't think there's any real reasons why I don't think there's any major sense we can make of it right now why Scandinavian countries are less religious. But man, Japan was really up there, and China. But Japan, as free as they are. The church is growing there slowly. Anyway, I would have spent more time on the Quora thread. However, you can go check it out yourself. We didn't. It's just that video went a lot longer than I thought.